Both Jennifer and Charles, along with hundreds of thousands of peaceful citizens in China, were tortured and subjected to slave labor for their spiritual beliefs in the Falun Gong meditation practice. Through its storytelling, the film spotlights the victims, puts a human face on the Chinese state's human rights abuses, arbitrary detention of dissidents, harvesting of organs from live prisoners of conscience, and export of products made by forced prison labor to the West. The film also examines how Chinese citizens are awakening to demand their rights of conscience and the internet war of censorship and the anti-censorship that is so prevalent in China today. Let me just say, too, that there are so many people here who work diligently for years, even for decades, on combating human rights abuses in China. I see Michael Horowitz is here. Michael has done yeoman's work from day one on a variety of important human rights issues, and it's always good to see Michael because he cares, and he cares deeply. And the time is coming. It's a matter of when and not if that this dictatorship will matriculate to a democracy, and it will only because of the friends, people like Michael Horowitz, people like Annette Lantos and their dear daughter, who's here, one of the panelist members. I would just say, yesterday when there was a ceremony for Aung San Suu Kyi, and it was very touching when Aung San Suu Kyi went out of her way to thank Tom Lantos for his great commitment to freedom and democracy and human rights in Burma, which he and I all have shared for China as well, which again is what brings us here. As you know, just a couple of days ago we had a hearing. For me, it was my 41st hearing on human rights abuses in China. The first one that I ever had on the organ harvesting was back in the 1990s. We had a policeman who actually got out of China. Harry Wu helped smuggle him out. And what he came and told us, with pictures, with documentation that were unassailable, was that they were executing prisoners to derive their organs, and it was pretty much of an on-demand type of thing. We need a liver, you kill somebody, and you get that liver. We now know that issue has gone from significantly bad to unbelievably worse under the current Hu Jintao dictatorship, and we know that the Falun Gong and other religious and political prisoners are being targeted for their organs, which are now being stolen from them as they are executed. This is barbaric beyond words. I have raised with Chinese leadership types in the past, many of them, that the Chinese government rightfully has spoken out against things like Unit 731, which barbarically dealt with prisoners, especially Chinese who were in Japanese captivity at the time, as well as pilots and others who were captured. They now have taken that low, degrading mistreatment of people to new lows, and unfortunately the Falun Gong have been targeted not just for torture, but for organ harvesting. And I want to thank Charles for pushing so hard. Dana Rohrabacher and I co-chaired that hearing, and Charles was an outstanding witness bringing forward information that has to be dealt with by the United States government, by all democracies, because this is almost an unparalleled, sadly there are parallels, devastation and acts of depravity. So thank you. There is hope, and I know this film will convey that hope. The Falun Gong and freedom-loving people in China will bring about that new day when China is free and human rights are respected, and so much of that will be laid at the door of people in this room, including and especially the Falun Gong. So thank you.